Welcome to Wisdom of the Buddha, where we explore profound teachings from Buddhist philosophy to help us live a life full of inner peace, freedom, and meaning. Did you know? When we're young, we often live with an open heart, ready to embrace everyone and every relationship, regardless of what they bring into our lives. We think we can handle anything, and honestly, many times we sacrifice ourselves to keep the peace, to let it go, in order to be loved or recognized by others. But then, time passes. We enter another phase of life, a phase that Americans often call the golden years, the golden age of old age. And then one thing suddenly becomes clearer than ever. Not everyone is worthy of walking with us through the final chapter of this journey. Not everyone should be present in our hearts every day. Not everyone deserves our time, energy, or attention, even if they are family, even if they are blood relatives. Because at this age, what we need most is not noise, not recognition, but peace. True peace. From within. We begin to realize that some people come into our lives not to be companions, but lessons. Some relationships, whether with friends, family, or even children, are the very causes of our exhaustion, depletion, and loss of self. They don't need to physically hurt us, scold us, or do anything grandiose. Sometimes it's just the small words, the indifferent attitude, the excessive demands, or prolonged ingratitude, enough to extinguish the light within us. If you've ever felt drained after every call with someone, if you've ever felt you've given so much with no recognition, if you've ever asked yourself, why do I feel more alone as I get older? Why do I feel misunderstood? Then this video is for you. Today, we will look with mindful eyes and loving kindness at 5 types of people who can drain your energy in old age. And most importantly, often these are the people closest to you. Family members, longtime friends, even children. But don't worry, this is not a video to criticize. On the contrary, it's a loving reminder. You have the right to choose peace. You have the right to set boundaries. And you have the right to say enough, kindly but firmly. Throughout this video, we'll reflect on Buddhist teachings, ancient yet practical wisdom, to learn how to recognize, let go, and keep only what truly serves our soul. Because old age is not the end. It's the stage of wisdom, inner freedom, and the opportunity for better choices than ever before. You don't need to live another day in relationships that make you feel small, exhausted, or unappreciated. Stay until the end of the video, because I will share a true story about an elderly American woman who bravely set boundaries with her own daughter, not out of anger, but through love and self-respect. From that moment, she regained her laughter, her sleep, and the peace in her heart, things she thought she had lost forever. You deserve that. Starting today. Now let's begin with the first type of person. Part 1, the manipulator, the one who uses your emotions and compassion for personal gain. The manipulator uses guilt and emotional leverage to get what they want, often without considering your needs or well-being. At first, their requests may seem innocent, but over time, you may find yourself feeling drained by the constant demands and emotional manipulation. Buddha teaches that love is not about unconditional sacrifice, but is an act of compassion with mindfulness and self-respect. When facing manipulators, Buddhism encourages us to set clear and firm boundaries. Real-life example. Imagine you have a relative who continuously asks you to do things for them, even though they are perfectly capable of doing it themselves. You can't say no because you're afraid of making them upset, and gradually, you feel exhausted from constantly responding to their requests. How to respond with mindfulness and compassion. Recognize the signs of manipulation and learn to say no, kindly but firmly. Set boundaries and inform them that you need time for yourself and cannot continuously meet all of their demands. Key takeaway. Boundaries are acts of self-love, not rejection. Knowing when to say no helps protect your peace and preserve your mental health. Part 2. The self-absorbed, people who only think about themselves. The self-absorbed individual never notices or acknowledges your needs. Relationships with them often become one-sided, where you never get a chance to share your story or experiences. When interacting with self-absorbed people, you may feel overlooked and disrespected. They never take the time to listen to you, and the conversation always revolves around their issues. Over time, you may feel exhausted as the relationship shifts from being a source of support to a burden. Buddha teaches that true connection arises from empathy and mutual understanding. To have a healthy relationship, we must maintain understanding, empathy, and shared communication. Real life example. Imagine a close friend who always dominates conversations with their life stories, never asking about your own experiences or feelings. Despite wanting to share your accomplishments or cherished memories, they continually turn the conversation back to themselves. How to respond with mindfulness and compassion. Recognize when the conversation becomes unbalanced and gently redirect it. You might say, "I'd love to finish sharing this. It's meaningful to me." By being gentle yet firm, you can protect your space and still maintain respect. Key takeaway. Healthy relationships are built on mutual listening and understanding. Seek relationships with those who appreciate and value your voice and experiences. Part 3. The critic. The one who constantly points out your flaws. The critic constantly points out your flaws or decisions, often disguised as helpful feedback. While some criticism can be constructive, constant negative judgment can erode your self-confidence and peace of mind. Buddha teaches that we are not victims of external circumstances. We are masters of how we respond. Words can only hurt us if we allow them to. By practicing mindfulness and self-compassion, we can protect our inner peace from criticism. Real-life example. You may encounter someone who continually criticizes everything you do, from how you dress to how you live your life. Every word they say makes you feel inadequate and lacking. How to respond with mindfulness and compassion. Learn to view criticism as an opportunity for growth. If the criticism is not constructive, let it go without letting it affect you. A calm, firm response like, "I appreciate your concern, but I feel confident in my choices," can protect your self-esteem while maintaining kindness. Key takeaway. Criticism can be a chance for learning, but if it is not constructive, we must protect ourselves and avoid being affected. Part 4. The irresponsible. The one who always depends on others. The irresponsible person is always seeking help, whether emotionally or financially, without taking responsibility for their own actions. Their behavior can drain your resources and peace of mind. Buddhism teaches that we must face the consequences of our actions. Helping someone avoid these consequences prevents them from learning important lessons about life. Compassionate detachment allows us to help without becoming emotionally entangled. Real-life example. Imagine a friend who constantly asks for loans but never repays you, or someone who repeatedly seeks emotional support without ever improving their situation. How to respond with mindfulness and compassion. Offer guidance when needed, but set boundaries to avoid being drained by their irresponsibility. Sometimes, advising them to take responsibility or seek professional help is the best way to assist them. Key takeaway. Helping with limits is essential. Don't let someone's irresponsibility drain your peace or resources. Part 5. The ungrateful. The one who never appreciates your efforts. In relationships, there's a joy in giving, but that joy fades when our efforts are met with ingratitude. The ungrateful person takes your kindness for granted, leaving you feeling unappreciated. Buddhism teaches that true generosity comes from the heart, without expectation of repayment. However, when giving is not reciprocated with gratitude, the balance of the relationship shifts. It's essential to recognize when your generosity is being taken for granted. Real-life example. You may have a friend who you have helped many times, offering emotional and financial support. Over time, you realize that they never acknowledge your efforts and take your kindness for granted. How to respond with mindfulness and compassion. Recognize when giving has become a burden and set boundaries. Focus your energy on those who genuinely appreciate your contributions. Key takeaway. Giving should come from a place of joy and selflessness. When ingratitude prevails, it's time to reassess the relationship. As we grow older, we have the opportunity to look back at our lives and realize that relationships are not limitless. We must be mindful of those we allow into our lives, especially in our later years. These years should be about peace, reflection, and not being disturbed by those who do not nurture or appreciate us. Buddhism teaches that peace begins within. By setting boundaries and choosing the right people, we protect our energy, happiness, and well-being. Surround yourself with relationships that uplift and support you, and let go of those that drain you. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to Wisdom of the Buddha, like, and share this video with your friends and family. Let's continue on the path of peace and wisdom together. Remember, you deserve a life of peace, joy, and loving relationships. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.